What is up, YouTube? This is Squadron coming alive and well, and today I'll be presenting you a deck profile of Brian de Chateau's Universe 2 Green deck. So what this deck does is that it's based on Universe 2, of course, like I said, of the characters that, well, everybody fucking hated. And a lot of people are not fans of these characters because of the fact of what this girl turned into this, and how she ended up portraying herself saying, love, 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 blah, 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 crap, crap, crap. I didn't like that. The fact is that you have these goofy looking characters in the series as part of the Tournament of Power was a lot of hate. You know, there was a lot of hate, and trust me, I know what that means. And I'm going to say this though, that the fact that these characters were ended up being part of the cards, I'm going to be like, to be honest with you, it was not really that great. But, looking at this now, it actually looks really good. You know, and after you fix it right, you know, and then just know how you're going to make the deck, it looks amazing. Because they always have like the fairy looks, they got the harpy looks, they got the fiend type looks, you know, it's pretty well adjusted to see how well this deck does. But anyway, let's go straight to the deck profile. Okay, so first off, we're going to go ahead and show the leader, Brian de Chateau. What she does is that when this card attacks the leader, look up the top two cards at the top of your deck, choose up to one Maiden Squadron among them, and add it to your hand. Then place the remaining cards at the bottom of your deck in any order. And then when she awakens, it's the two draw effect. So I like the idea because you want to go ahead and keep searching for your Maiden Squadrons for now. You don't want to go ahead and just keep attacking your leaders, always remember, because you don't want to self-awaken your opponent's leaders and also give them cards they need. Unless this is has critical, and of course, you don't really care. But her awakening side, however, I gotta say, has a great effect. Even though her card here looks fucking stupid, with her eyes flaming and her cloud underwear showing. Oh god, I'm sorry, I can't even take that seriously. But again, I appreciate the cards, I just don't appreciate the characters. So, Rebrian Maiden Anger's effect states that once per turn, if Kakusa and Rosie are in play in the battle area, you get to choose one of your opponent's battle cards and KOs it. And when the card attacks, draw a card. So, it's amazing. So, for those who don't know who Rosie and Kakusa is, thank God, are basically these two. So, as long as you got these two on the board, her effect will resolve, saying that you can go ahead and just KO one of your opponent's like big guys, you know, like Jiren, or maybe an Ultra Instinct Goku, or anybody. It doesn't really matter, you know, and you'll be basically doing a lot of work, you know, just go ahead and just pop your opponent's main key cards that you need on the board. But without further ado, let's go straight to the main deck. Alright, so first, Maiden Charge. Play 4 of these. She's basically a negate. So what it does is that after you negate, if your leader is Universe 2, place one card in your hand in your job area, and if you do so, your opponent chooses one of their battle cards and KOs it. So let me give you a brief idea of this. So the idea of what this deck you want to do is sometime, and not all the time, but mainly, try to get these two cards in the graveyard, because I'll give you the idea why later on by the end of this deck. Next, we play 4 Zabuto main attendants. He's your Power Dualities for Universes 2, of course. It's just so simple as that. We play 3 Bundled Curiosities Son Gokus. He's obviously our play draw card thing. Of course, we have a ton of Energy 2s here. And I only play 3 because I don't think 4 is going to be, you know, well adjusted. I think 3 is going to be fine. You don't want to just use this card a lot, because sure, you want to draw, you obviously need that, but the idea is not to draw your deck out. You just want to go ahead and make sure you have your right key cards to make sure you have the advantage over your opponent. Next, we play Girl Warrior Brian de Chateau, who has Barrier. And then when you play this card, she's basically like the Son Goku, where you look at the top 7 cards of your deck. But this one, she gets to choose one Maiden Squadron among them. So obviously, she can search for herself, she can search for her 2 friends, or she can search for her awakening, which we'll get to that soon. Next, we play, of course, everyone's favorite insane girl, Khalifa, because for the fact that we want to go ahead and self-awaken, and the fact she also helps our cards not prevent from being destroyed, which is very important for every green deck in the game. Next, our super combo of the game, Vical, Master of the Sky. And everyone who doesn't know about this, of course, I'll explain it. In the tournament power, if it's 5 or less, and your leader is that certain card of the universe, like this universe 2, for example, go ahead, 10k, draw a card. That's simple as that. And that's why it's really amazing what their super combos are now becoming. And speaking of combos, here's our finally Green's own combo summoning card, Kawaii Keymaster. Obviously, we all know what these type of things are. At the end of the battle, after your combo square, summon in rest mode. We finally got it, so Green can finally do it. Before then, we had Tian Shinhan. And of course, we played 2 of him because, again, Self-Awakening and KOing cards. So yes, the idea of this deck does resolve with KOing your opponent's annoying cards, so you can go ahead and just screw them over. Next, of course, we played 3 Teleporting Jamies. Permanent effect states that you can reduce the cost of a main squadron in your hand by 2. So you can go ahead and just reduce Brienne de Chateau by 2 when you have this guy on the board, and you can summon her already to get the effect off. Or you can go at 2 and you can summon up your 2 main squadrons to go off with. His other effect is that place 1 card in your hand in the drop area, send this card to the warp, and then you can play this card in the warp on your next turn. It's okay for now because you do want to get some of these cards in the graveyard for other effects, but it's just not really worth it. I highly recommend just you keep them on the board for that permanent for a while, because it's a really good effect, trust me. Next we played 2 Hidden Awakening Chaos, and I'm going to say that having 2 doesn't seem bad to me. I know for a lot of people who see 2 Chaos in this deck are like possibly be like freaking out and probably just not really accepting the fact that I'm playing 2, but good reason. Funny thing is, I thought I took out the Chaos originally planned, but I slayed the Chaos. And then looking at the deck, I think it's not really that bad anyway. You don't really want to play like 4 Chaos, 3 Chaos, because remember, it's not about KO in this deck, you know? And I get that her effect is really great, and I know she's one of the most expensive cards in the game. But remember, I already have enough cards to do KOs anyway, and just having her, you could say she's like an insurance policy, you know? And why not, you know? And if anything, you guys, if you want me to go ahead and play at least 3, I at least try to draw maybe a 1 Khalifa and we play 3 of each. But like I said, this is not really based about KO or anything. But she's great, she's awesome, and I do want to use her in the deck because you gotta play KOs and greens. She's amazing. You know, obviously we know critical. KOs with a card and gets you a draw if you have 5 or less cards in your hand. Love it. But now let's come to the real cards of the deck where it matters. Maiden Squadron Kakusa and Maiden Squadron Rose. First Kakusa, we also see here, she's a critical. And in permanent effect states, if you have Ribrienne and Rosie on the board, she gains dual attack. So basically, you get 20k critical dual attack. That's amazing, you know? And hell, you could use that dual attack to set her back to actives just in case you don't want her to die in the next turn. So that way you can always keep her in active mode and she'll survive the next turn, depending. Main Squadron Rosie, she's a blocker, and at the end of the turn, if you have Ribrienne and Kakusa on the board, she switches to active mode, basically. So keep her active, you know, basically have the bird effect as long as you have the certain cards on the board, because for the fact that you get to attack with 20,000 beat stick right here, and switch her back so that way she can block the next turn. And then finally, since we have 2, I usually go in order this way, we're going to go ahead and start with our leader. Maiden Squadron Leader, Ribrienne. Alright, she evolves, and it's 2 greens, 1 energy, and 1 Brienne on it. So, she has Barrier as well, and her 2 effects. Amazing. First effect, when you evolve this card, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards, KOs it. And her second effect, which I also love, when this card attacks, and if Kakusa and Rosie are in the battle area, choose up to 2 cards from your opponent's hand and place them in the drop area. Simple as that. That's amazing. So every time she's going to attack, and as long as you got the certain cards on the board, you already going to make your opponent lose 2 cards in hand no matter what. You can negate it, you can do whatever, but that effect resolves, that's it, game over. You're going to lose 2 cards in your hand, and it's going to make you lose the combo cards and pieces anyway. Or maybe something even precious for you, but that's what I like about it. It's like, the idea is that once you have those cards on the board, you already have the advantage to go ahead and screw your opponent up. Now finally, the main card, the reason why we got these cards to be in the graveyard, is Maiden Transformation. What this does, you get to choose up to 2 main squadrons in your graveyard with 4 or less cost in the drop area and play them. That is amazing. You go ahead, place them in the graveyard so that you don't have to summon one at a time just in case this guy's not on the board or you need to go ahead and have them on the board. You play this card, you already got these 2 on the board, and you already have the advantage to go ahead and then use her effect to go ahead and KO cards, and then go ahead and use these 2 to do their attack. She can block, she does her attack, you know, to make sure your opponent doesn't gain any of his life cards, you know. That's why it's a really great idea for what this deck resolves. It's so amazing how far this deck can do just to make sure you get the key cards. That's what it usually does in all card games. You need key cards on the board so you can go ahead and knock your opponent out, make them lose, like, everything, like have them in a disadvantage. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that is the deck profile of Universes 2 Brienne Maiden of Anger, aka Brienne de Chateau. I hope you guys enjoyed this deck profile. I like this idea of the deck. It's really great. I'm very actually a little excited seeing this deck to see how the way it works. Yeah, I know it's going to be a little expensive because mainly you got these 2 cards in the game. But other than that, you don't have to use them. But then again, that's just me being an idiot saying that, which you're probably going to afterwards, even if you watch this deck profile or not. But yeah, guys, I hope you guys really try this deck out anytime. Any changes you can do or you can make this deck, go ahead. If you need ideas, let me know. And if you have ideas of your own and see any changes or anything that you want to talk about, let me know in the comment section below, and I will be glad to hear. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say thank you for watching, and this is Fortune Striker, signing off.